The Square Ball Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome to Monday's West Stand, our guest-led show here on The Square Ball. You'll find it on YouTube if you want to watch. If you want to listen, it's in your podcast app as well. Guests from across the world of Leeds United. Dan Moylan with you, and just two of us today, Graham Smyth as well. Hello, Graham.
Hello.
What are your thoughts on NordVPN, Graham?
Always been a massive fan, to be honest.
Why?
Probably just because of the protection it gives you.
Yeah. Threat protection and keeps your data private. Well done, by the way, for stepping up there in the absence of Normanton, who was recovering in hospital, by the way, after his back surgery, and everybody else has had to dash off for other events. So it's just me and thee tonight. But the show is brought to you with NordVPN. Protect your private data. You know how VPN works by now. You can save money on flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. Watch sporting events from around the world if they are geo-locked or geo-blocked. Everything can be found on the website. Go to nordvpn.com/TSB to get the exclusive discount, so an additional discount on top of the 2-year plan. You can use it on up to 10 devices, so all your household is protected. nordvpn.com/TSB, and you'll also find the link in the episode description box. And it's all backed by a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee as well. So then, 2-2 against Bournemouth. This coming out on Monday, but you have just hot-footed it here from the press conference. How was Daniel Farke? Was he downbeat and disappointed, or was he fairly on the level as he tends to be, Graham?
He was fairly on the level, but he was on the front foot. He did use words like heartbreaking and disappointing because of the manner in which they drew the game. But he also tried to claim that he wouldn't have taken a point before the game because he goes out to win every game. Come on, Daniel, be honest.
Right.
I think most would have taken a point before that. But he was very, very proud of the performance, proud of what the players did, and felt that they deserved to win. And let's be honest, he's right. They should have won. They should have won that game by a couple of goals, really. Should have been out of sight by half-time, let's be honest.
It felt like we had the chances, they had the quality in possession, which we perhaps didn't have, but we scrapped well.
Yeah, it basically put them right under it. It was Andoni IRAOLA who said that Leeds were superior when it came to the physical battle, and he didn't just mean winning aerial balls, he meant winning second balls, he meant running.
That's interesting, because I've not seen any of his comments yet.
His comments were really interesting because he said that normally they're very good at that aspect, very good at running, very willing runners, but Leeds were superior today. He felt that they got to second balls and were more aggressive, and you could see it though. That you could see that's what gave Leeds a chance, was that Ampadu was always straight in there. Longstaff was everywhere, and Stack played a part too. He didn't have his best game, Stack, but Farke called Longstaff outstanding, and I think that's the perfect word for it.
Yeah, no, I think so too. We picked him as our man of the match on the match ball afterwards. No, it's interesting to hear those comments from IRAOLA. It was nice seeing little bits of Bielsa in there today. Like you could see when Tyler Adams would drop back in between the two centre halves, them two being spread really wide. The third man, like the overloads down, trying to get the the fullbacks really high up the pitch. And you're like, it sort of springs off a distant memory in your mind, doesn't it? I've seen all this before.
A bit of a sliding doors thing, isn't it, with Ariel? What could have been had Jesse Marsh not masterminded the wins that he did prior to the World Cup. He was very, very complimentary of Leeds, Iraola. He said that they were a team with soul, that a team that wanted to fight, and yet he said that they were smart because Bournemouth were pressing really well at the start, and then Leeds went direct to Calvert-Lewin and changed the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought Leeds got it pretty much spot on, apart from what Daniel Farke called the small details. He didn't think they switched off. He thought that there was a poor touch in possession, which then leads to them giving away a needless free kick. Free kick comes in, they don't win the first header, they don't drop quickly enough. So, and then there's a man free.
Yeah.
And at this level,
it happens, doesn't it?
It happens, and it costs you.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be on it, as we saw at Fulham, as we touched on in the match ball. It's right to the end, isn't it? 95, 97 minutes, sometimes 100. I mean, there were goals scored at 90 plus 10 today in the Premier League, so you get a lot of it, and you see why managers use subs late on, don't you, as well, to try and disrupt the game and break it. But I thought Leeds got it pretty much spot on throughout today. You could see early doors, and you concur with what we were saying on the match ball, which was you could see their quality in possession. We didn't quite know what to do with it early doors until we figured out, like you say, just was to go longer. And it kind of, there's an echo in my mind there of what Crystal Palace did to us last time we were in the Premier League, when we were charging around, pressing them high up the pitch. It's when Vieira was in charge of them, and they just figured out, actually, we'll just chip it over them.
Yeah,
and it works. It's a valid tactic. But again, Premier League, what it takes to succeed in the Premier League, I think, was in evidence today in terms of set pieces, the physicality, the headers, just how balls into the box caused chaos.
The plan works to make them competitive. Like, we didn't know in the summer. We could see what their plan was, but we didn't know if it was going to work. We didn't know how any of this was going to pan out. And I think if somebody had told you before the season starts that in this many games Leeds would be this competitive, right in with a chance of a win or a draw to the last minute against very good Premier League teams, I think you'd have been pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
I think had you offered the same scenario to last year's relegated 3, they'd have snapped your hand off because they simply could not take the game to the opposition. They couldn't be physical with them. They couldn't get a foot in. I love the way Leeds rat around the pitch and make life so difficult. And I thought Longstaff was absolutely outstanding today.
I'm encouraged by our resilience as well. The fact that we're able to go a goal behind and it feels like doom and gloom, doesn't it? Sometimes, particularly when you're an emotional fan base as Leeds fans tend to be. But to have gone one down at Wolves and gone on to win that and to have turned it around today, barring that last attack-ish, we would have done the same again today. So there is genuinely lots to be positive about, albeit it's always disappointing to drop points.
There's an element of bad luck as well, though, because in the build-up to the first goal, I thought Longstaff was shoved in the back with a two-hander and it's allowed to go on. The ball gets headed around a bit and then Stack does go in on the back of Christie. Daniel Farke has called it the softest free kick that will be given all weekend. He felt it just wasn't a free kick in the Prem.
It didn't look it from where I was sat, but I was a way away.
I was obviously in the West Stand. Christie was kind of coming towards us in that direction. I thought Stack went into his back.
I thought he had his eyes on the ball, you see, from where I was looking.
I guess if he was looking right through Christie's body, then I guess he would see the ball. But I just don't think you can give them the opportunity to go down there. That's such a terrible place to give one away.
Particularly when the ref is giving everything for the littlest bit of contact. And you get everything at this level, don't you? Like and we saw it as well. And I mentioned on the match ball, this is not me bitching and moaning about one particular decision. You saw it all game. We did it too.
Yeah. There were moments where you turn your back, you wait for the contact, you go down like a prime Luke Ayling and you get the free kick. I would like to have a few more looks at the setup of that wall and where Brendan Aronson's position was in relation to the wall, because when the free kick's taken, I've seen a couple of angles that it almost looks like he's not quite matched up with the wall. And I don't know if that's Darlow that needs to be telling him, shuffle forward, lie to your full length. I don't know, but and I'd also wonder what the wisdom was in jumping, because if you don't jump, then you force him to try and go over you, and it's very difficult.
I've just pinged you a still on WhatsApp actually that somebody's in one of our groups has posted of him as the draft excluder, and he looks to be a tiny bit curled up. It just seems to be the range that he's at. He's just absolutely put his foot through it there.
It's a great strike, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's an element of bad luck there. There was an element of terrible luck at Fulham that cost them a point. And then I think they have to take a lot more culpability for the second goal. And what we didn't get into in the press conference, which I think sometimes is where you wish you had more time and more questions with the manager, and perhaps it was more of a conversation than a here are your 2 questions with no follow-ups. We didn't really manage to get into the substitutions and, do you want Yacobiol in the penalty box in the 93rd, 94th minute, heading everything away? Do you want Daniel James on the pitch so that you have an outlet, a ball over the top, just someone to hair away and not even just to present problems on the break, but to take the ball down the other end and keep you from dropping so far back? Because
he does the work as well as Daniel James, does he? Maybe he's not quite fit.
Yeah, there's that. Maybe he was just there for an emergency case today. I don't know. But yeah, they've let themselves down a little bit. I mean, I thought Struijk, kept saying to myself in the second half, Struijk has headed away so many crosses. And then the one that comes in for the goal, he gets beaten in the air by the big centre-back. And then they concede. And that's just Premier League quality, I suppose. And you just cannot switch off.
A few hairy moments earlier on, just thinking about Struijk when he was in possession of the ball. But he wasn't the only one who was guilty of it as well. Ampadu got caught just napping just a little bit on one or two occasions.
His back pass for Darlow, he sold him a little short.
Yeah, and it felt like there was a desire to draw the press, if you like, and then try and beat it, because we actually managed to beat it quite easily, because they had sort of 2 men floating around, but we had 3 players there, so we were always at that extra man at the back. But it seemed like sometimes they would play themselves into trouble, having beaten the press, then the pass that they would pick after that was not quite the right one. But it's splitting hairs really, because I think it was we played it well, and once we figured out how to how to counter their press that high up the pitch. I thought we did well. It's a decent day, I think. Not a perfect day.
It is, because they're a very, very good team. You look at who they're bringing off the bench. I mean, I feel like we're almost saying that every week, maybe with the exception of Wolves, that look at the quality these clubs have, look at the depth they've got and the attacking options that they've got. I mean, Evan Nielsen's an unbelievable player to have in your starting lineup, and then the players you're bringing off the bench, like Brooks and Tavernier, are all very, very good Premier League players. So to go toe-to-toe with these sides and deserve to get something at least from the game, maybe not getting everything you deserve, but deserving to get something, I think is a really big positive at this stage of the season for Leeds. I think they've started really well.
It's interesting. We just had a conversation in the car on the way around, didn't we, about how there's been a sort of broadly negative reaction online to it, but that doesn't necessarily match up with the conversation that me, Chris, and Rob had on the match ball, and the conversation that we had coming round here, and the one that we're having now. Is it a glass half full, half empty thing, or is that just the nature of online?
I think I can understand that people. What I do understand is someone saying we deserve to draw at Fulham and didn't. We deserve to beat Bournemouth and didn't. We'll be saying that we deserve to stay up but didn't. I can see, the reason and the argument behind that, but I think you've got a decent tally of points already from these games, and to draw with the likes of Newcastle and play so well, I think should be hugely encouraging. It should be encouraging. It should be seen as a positive that you're this competitive and that you are deserving to get something out of games.
Well, I'm just looking at the points per game. We're on one and a third at the minute. So over the course of the season, at the minute, we're trending towards 50, which you would take right now in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? Admittedly, that there's going to be a long stretch of games that are quite difficult coming up. But then we saw that when we had those games last time, even under like Jesse Marsh, when things were not going particularly great. There were fixtures that surprised you. We took points and we didn't necessarily expect to.
Well, remember what happened at Anfield?
Well, yeah.
It was maybe the worst win in the club's history.
But there was it the first promotion season, the first season back after promotion, under Bielsa, where we kind of had it was like Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea all in a row, and we got quite a number of points out of those games. We were like drawing at home to them, and we maybe even won one of the games. I can't quite remember, but I think it never quite pans out how you fully expect in your mind, does it?
No, I think what I'd say is I would expect them to be able to make life difficult for even the likes of Spurs at Elland Road, but they'll have learned a lesson today in terms of you can't have situations like they had in the 93rd minute. And also, we shouldn't forget that if it's not for Rodon's unbelievable block in the final kick of the game, we might be talking about the cruelest of defeats today.
But equally then, you're talking more sliding doors moments, are you, in the sense that if the equaliser hasn't gone in and then it changes the psychology, it changes the game state, doesn't it? So maybe they don't even get that chance.
Maybe, yeah. And if we're talking about should-haves, could-haves and would-haves, then we should be talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Farke said he had no criticism for him. He said that's the life of a striker. Sometimes you score from a far harder chance, like he did last week, than the chances he missed today. I think the counter-argument to that is if you're being paid as well as we're led to believe he's being paid, if you're a Premier League quality striker and you're presented with 3 opportunities like that inside 20 minutes, you have to be coming away with at least 1 goal.
I think that's a fair criticism, yeah. But then again, the players who score those every time or most times, you're suddenly then into the 50, 60 million pound as a starting price conversation. And do you know what as well? I almost think, given the amount of good work that Calvert-Lewin did subsequent to that, it almost feels a little bit unfair picking on him for that. No, I think the criticism, it is fair. You want him to take one, don't you? But that's the difference at this level. It is about taking your chances. It's about not switching off in crucial moments. And like you said, they'll learn from that. But you can't make him put the ball in the net, can you? As Bielsa always used to say, Fulham, if you can't make your strikers score.
Yeah. I was surprised that he didn't, looking at the quality of the chances, I was surprised that he didn't stick one away. I thought, I might be wrong in this because I haven't had a chance to watch it back in detail, but I thought the third one, he had more time than to snatch at the header. I thought he could maybe even bring the ball down.
But yeah, I think he kind of he created himself half a yard off the man, didn't he? But he wouldn't have been necessarily fully aware of where the man is at that point, and the ball drops to your head. You think, well, I'm going to head this. So it's easy to say from the stands, isn't it? Or with hindsight, you should have taken it down because he should have done. But
what he does really, really well, which allowed Leeds to change the game, is that hold-up play, that making himself a focal point. The ball goes up to him. Centre-halves have a terrible time with him.
He seems to win so many of them.
Yeah, and he hangs in the air for a long time. And it's all the little bumps and little nudges. If he's not going to win the ball, he'll nudge the defender and make the defender play it out. You know, he always seems to get something on the ball or something on them, and they seem to find him very, very difficult to come up against.
Unbalance the opponent, as the saying would go. Yeah, and he is good at it. I very much enjoyed his performance today. Apart from the finishes and as we were saying on the match ball, like the midfield battle, particularly when Ampadu gets into Adams, it's get you off your seat stuff. It's getting you riled. It's getting the crowd going stuff. I thought it was great fun.
I thought the crowd were really into it today, but I thought they were kept in it by what Leeds were doing. You know, every time Longstaff made a big tackle or Ampadu leaves one late on Tyler Adams or Goodmanson. I mean, Goodmanson embodied that performance with that moment prior to the Longstaff goal where he battled and battled and battled and did enough to force the ball to Okafor so that they could then carry on and have a chance.
I was going to say, if you're IRAOLA there, you're furious about that.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he came out of there with that. Should never have happened.
But there's moments of that you see huge desire, like the moment in the second half where Bogle sees that the ball's about to go out of play. So he sprints and he leaps like Michael Jordan and heads the ball to keep it in, and then they're off on the attack. I think that is giving Leeds a lot in games, just the amount of players who are straining every sinew to try and get to the ball.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was a little bit flat, actually, early doors today, because I think everybody saw Bournemouth's quality in possession and kind of went, oh, this is going to be a tough one, and we just didn't quite get that foothold in the game. But the thing that ignited everybody was that when Adams got over Stack, when Stack was on the floor, and it just seemed to like the blue touch paper did that one, and then it was fizzy after that.
And Longstaff, like, screaming in there and getting it right in his face. I guess, though, when you're waiting for a special announcement, you're a bit on edge, so maybe people are a bit nervy.
No, behave yourself. I mean, aren't they silly? Aren't they silly? Why tease this fan base with anything whatsoever?
If there was ever a fan base to not tease, it would be this one. But I actually think it was such a lovely moment to see Johnny Giles coming out at Elland Road, and it seemed to really mean a lot to him. Yeah,
and it would have been nice to be able to hear what they say, but I mean, will we ever have a functioning PA system? Probably not.
Yeah, we caught some of what he was saying in the West End. I don't think I caught anything that Lucas Radibi said at halftime. But really nice to see them getting some well-earned recognition.
You just wait for the pauses and then applaud. Sing the songs. And then,
well, you know that what he's going to be saying is going to be lovely.
Yeah.
It'd be stunning if it wasn't.
Geeing up the fans and all that. Yeah, just to return to the... we didn't really speak about this on the match ball, but 19 shots. I didn't realise we'd had so many. XG of 1.7 to 0.96. So, yeah, there is a case to be made there for winning that game, isn't there?
Well, I asked IRAOLA, was it a fair result? And he said, I haven't looked at the stats yet. And he said, have you? And I said, well, I'm thinking about those 3 big chances Leeds had inside 20 minutes. And he said, they had the better chances, but he felt like Bournemouth's goal was closer, as in they were more ominous. And he had said some lovely stuff about Leeds. He talked about that first chance, which was a mistake from them. And then he ultimately said, I don't know if it was fair.
But listen to you and Anthony, just two football minds, just exchanging ideas in the press conference.
Yeah.
What did you think, Graham? I don't know. What do you think, Anthony?
Always reminds me of when I asked Bielsa a question quite early on in my tenure at the YUP, and he asked me, "What do you think?" Because I asked him about why the game changed or something. He said, "What do you think?" And my heart dropped right into my feet.
I don't know. You tell me. You're the genius here. Yeah, the open play, because the concern, I suppose, was about how threatening we would be from open play in the early weeks, prior to Wolves. And the open play XG today was over 1. It was like 1.09. And the XG for set plays was 0.6. Theirs was about equal. Bournemouth, if you take theirs as 1, it was about 50-50. So, yeah.
Set pieces as well. I mean...
That's what we do now.
Where has Sean Longstaff been hiding this gift for corners?
Yeah.
And how many times? I think it was 6 times that he found the head of Joe Rodon in the penalty area with a corner, which is a remarkable number for that one particular combination.
We should have tried to do that more in the past, not just hitting the front post, like the man at the front post. Just put it into somebody in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, mix it up, send a deep one, send one to the middle. I thought his corners were excellent.
Yeah, we picked Longstaff as our man of the match for today's game. Would you concur with that? Because he was everywhere, wasn't he?
1,000,000%. I think it was a complete midfield performance. Daniel Farke called it man of the match performance. I think the only players who really were in with a shout were Goodmanson.
Excellent again.
Who was superb. And if Calvert-Lewin sticks 2 of those away, then he's in the running as well because of everything else he did. But Longstaff just did it all and had end product as well.
Can we celebrate Michael Jordan, aka Jayden Bogle, because he's now become really crucial to this team. And it probably lifted the spirits to see that he was in the starting 11.
Yeah.
And another just not flawless performance, but he didn't put a foot wrong. Equally, he was there doing what he does, and he doesn't quite get up the pitch quite as much now. He sort of picks his moments a little bit more carefully, but he was still up there getting right involved in all that.
He started in the Premier League better than he started in the Championship last season. He's had a better start to this season, which is incredible. What I love is that he's still dangerous at this level going forward, because you wonder about players like that. A lot of Sheffield United fans had serious question marks about whether he could do it in the Premier League.
He's fine going forward, but can't defend.
But he's doing both sides of the game really, really well. His ball carrying ability has translated to this level. If he's found properly with 2 of those runs he makes, Aronson undercooks the pass for one, and Ampadu slightly undercooks the pass for the next one, and a good challenge comes in. But he's getting into great positions. £5 million. An
absolute steal.
What a bit of business.
Yeah. To be fair, all the recruitment recently has looked really, really good. It feels like we've got really good value out of the money that we've spent. Like Okafor as well. Was saying on the match ball, it feels like he's just got that little bit of sauce, and you're just starting to see it now come through. He's going to lose the ball. He's going to lose the ball lots, because that's the type of player that he is. But he just makes things happen.
You need a player like that. You need somebody who's going to be better than the opposition defenders. And that run he went on today, the dribble that he took on several players, that's the kind of thing you need you need a difference maker like that. I think they just need to increase the size of his lungs.
Yeah, and he was asking for the ball to be dropped over the top, which is another outlet, isn't it? Particularly if we're playing in this slightly more industrial style, if we're not trying to create things.
He's got the body for it as well. He's got a serious frame on him.
Yeah. So he can compete in the air, because he can be used as sort of a second number 9, can't he? He can play a little bit further inside, but he's kind of all pace and all power, which is, I suppose, what this team is about. Yeah.
I like the look of him. I'd like to see a lot more from him. I think the potential is there to see some really good moments.
Do you agree that probably Goodmanson aside, but the new boys who've come in again, not including Longstaff because he was already here in the Premier League, they're sort of having to just make a little bit of an adjustment upwards to the level, the relentlessness of it, the physicality. Like you saw it with Tanaka, who was effectively flawless at all times in the Championship, but he got caught in possession today at a crucial moment, trying to do that thing where he kind of shields the ball and turns out of it, and you don't get a second.
In the Championship, he was away and in the clear when he did that. My concern with Tanaka was more physicality going into the Premier League, because he got run over a little bit towards the end of last season, and I worried a little bit because you're coming up against the most elite athletes in the Premier League. I agree with what you're saying. I think Anton Stack has probably had to make a bit of an adjustment upwards. I don't think he had his best game today. I sometimes think that maybe in his head he thinks he's got slightly more time than he has.
Which maybe you do in Germany.
Maybe he's having to make decisions quicker, maybe, or he's being rushed into things where he maybe wouldn't have been previously. But again, he's sticking in there. He's still competitive. He's still doing stuff that's contributing.
Full-time whistle has just gone at the City ground. Forest have lost to Sunderland, which is a great result for Sunderland. They are right up there. We should have been up there with them on 11 points, all things being equal. What do you make of the promoted clubs? And doesn't it feel to you a little bit like maybe the old order and what we've seen for the last couple of... And it's very premature to say, I know. But at least there's an opportunity there for us to break that stereotype.
Well, I think we're already seeing that they're a different proposition to last season's teams. Last season's teams, what was it, like November before one of them got double figures, something like that?
So we've got a collective 11, 19, 23 points between the 3 promoted teams.
Yeah, I think someone of the established order is in real trouble this season. I think already you could say it would be a surprise if all 3 newly promoted teams went down.
Burnley are 4th bottom at the minute, and I'm sort of mindful that the 3 teams below them, Wolves can't go above them, but have all played a game for you. But it's something that Michael brought up on one of the shows this week, actually. Just looked at his empty chair wistfully there, bless him. That, you forget that the teams at the bottom lose a lot in the Premier League, because you get conditioned to being up at the top, and you can't at the Championship. This is, and you can't put a foot wrong because everybody around you is winning all the time. Whereas at the bottom end of the Premier League, you can actually afford to lose a few games here and there because everybody else does.
Yeah, except last season, the bottom three just lost relentlessly.
Yeah,
and they allowed Tottenham and Manchester United to get away with it.
Yeah, with the caveat that you have to win some as well. Yeah.
You do have to win some, but I think Leeds are giving themselves enough chances to win points I think it's already feasible that they could stay up. I think it's going to be hard. They're going to have to take the chances. They're going to have to learn their lessons. You know, we can't keep saying, oh, deserved more today. You've got to reward yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it could be a lot worse. It could be playing out like it played out for those three or the three before them.
We've scored 6 goals. We've conceded 9. 5 of them in one game. So
yeah,
the strategy of trying to tighten up defensively, broadly speaking, on the majority of the evidence anyway, seems to be working.
Yeah, they weren't really cut through or cut open today, were they? On many occasions, like they weren't. You're not seeing.
It's a set piece and a cross, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
you're not seeing the ball being passed through the defensive midfielders and through the centre backs and players running in
like Wolves did.
You're not often seeing.
Well, what I'm saying is, thankfully, it didn't cost us. That's the one time. Yeah. I think again, I've parked the Arsenal game over there, and so that's almost just
in isolation.
Atypical. Ignore that for now. But yeah, where teams are beating us in the middle of the park, because that's where we seem to be concentrating resources.
Well, it was uncharacteristic that Longstaff didn't go with the runner or didn't spot or didn't match the run, because more often than not, the Leeds player is getting there first.
Yeah, I think in that instance, though, the Wolves one, he almost just seems to hesitate for half a second because his eye gets drawn to the ball, and before you know it, the guy's gone behind him. And just that moment of hesitation.
And I don't think he'll make many errors like that. Like you could see today, his Premier League nous in so many situations where he knew when to draw a foul, when to go to ground because the ball was there to be won. He just seems to make good decisions a lot of the time.
He's a solid sort of 7.5 player, isn't he, at all times?
Yeah, but I feel like he's outperforming that at the minute.
Yeah. In what is a grind and what is attritional and difficult. So overall conclusions from this as we close out Saturday. Almost a very, very good day at the office. Not quite there, but I feel quite pleased and quite positive. Like you say, I can see a route to us staying up now.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm not saying we're definitely going to do, but I can see the route to it happening if we keep picking up points.
But I think very encouraged by the competitiveness of this team and the fact that they can draw other teams into a battle and make life so difficult and draw Elland Road into it. I think the home games could be absolutely enormous for them.
Yeah. Actually, just talking about the established order, we've seen the change. Potter getting fired from West Ham this morning, and Nuno going straight in. Be interesting to see how and if that's affected and how that changes things down at the bottom there.
Yeah, you kind of hope that it would drag on a bit longer, really. You kind of hope that Potter would be bringing them here and not Nuno. But he's got his work cut out to turn them around quickly because they have had real issues, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. And Villa only scoring 1 goal down there in 5 games. Are they in trouble? They've only got 3 points.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it really hard to work them out, to work out what's going wrong with them, what's suddenly going wrong with them.
Because they've got Fulham tomorrow, which you could see them winning, but equally you could see that going either way. There's so many close games in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where you've got to, because like the likes of us are starting to just edge up the table and pick up these points. We're 5 points clear of Villa, so it's already 2 games. Which I bet one of them, if they beat us, then it's a 6-point swing effectively. But still, it's a bit of a gap that I'm comfortable with right now. But
what I've noticed already is that lots of people are already looking at games and thinking, we need this result, we need that result. We're only however many games in. There was even people today of a Leeds United persuasion in the press room who were disappointed to see Bruno Fernandes miss a penalty, which I couldn't quite fathom. Because they were thinking...
How did you pronounce that? Sorry, is it rat-faced bastard you said there? Is that what you said?
It is, yeah. But in the Northern Irish, it just sounds slightly different.
You're so cultured, Graham.
I just assumed that it would always be hearty laughter when they miss a penalty and they're going through the doldrums. But people obviously want Brentford to stay down there.
Yeah.
But I think you can have your cake and eat it. I think Brentford can struggle, and I think you can also laugh at Manchester United struggling. And
yeah. Well, when the variables are still wide and the possibilities are still quite wide, then there are times like last season where we thought we wanted one particular result, but actually it turns like the game I'm thinking of particularly was the Burnley Sunderland game where Sunderland missed the 2 penalties, wasn't it? And it probably would have made the end of the season a bit more comfortable if Sunderland had won that game.
Yeah,
ironically enough, but such is the nature of the Premier League. But yeah, plenty of stuff to enjoy, and that's one thing I think enjoyment, barring the Arsenal game, I'm actually quite enjoying this season already.
And it's not grim enjoyment. It's not seeing your team park the bus and try and get a 1-0, try and scrape a horrible 1-0. They are having moments of real danger going forward, and they are playing some nice stuff at times. If you didn't enjoy the goals they scored last week, you're not gonna enjoy anything, are you? I think there's enough in this team to entertain to a certain degree, but also enough to like. If I'm supporting a team that has players that are absolutely smashing players in the middle of the park, and then also using the ball well, then I'd be happy enough.
Yeah, and final word on Daniel Farke.
That was a bit abrupt.
I'm just thinking as a final point to close it out on, he probably deserves some credit, is what I'm thinking. Like we spoke about this on the match ball. It was reflected in the comments as well. Like he deserves a little bit of praise for somehow keeping this whole thing together.
Well, he has adapted to a degree that I think a lot of people thought he couldn't or wouldn't. We haven't seen. People are going to talk about substitutions, I think, till the cows come home, but we haven't seen the stubborn-headedness, other than maybe in the team selection at Arsenal, which I think he got wrong. But I think he kind of, in his own manner, admitted as such in a subsequent press conference. But I don't think you've seen a stubborn kind of dogmatic approach to, no, we are going to dominate the ball. We're going to try and have 60% possession, and we're going to play through these teams. He has adapted his team to the reality, and that's the phrase he used today. You have to adapt to the reality as a newly promoted team. I think he's got his head around what Leeds need to do to stay in the Premier League.
And let's hope we do. Let's hope we do. And we'll do it again sometime soon, Graham. Thanks very much.
No worries.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as this is out on Monday, Rangers, yesterday, how did they get on against Livingston? Russell Martin still in a job?
I mean, is there any way that we can win, but he can not be in a job?
Right. We'll catch up again soon. See you soon.
Cheers.
The Square Ball Podcast.